Mary.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that we'd be here?
Yes.
I knew we always would. I knew we would always make it. And when the universe gives you the perfect opportunity to follow your dreams, you have to take it.
Right.
So here we are.
Yeah.
So welcome to the first ever inaugural, if you will, podcast of Jersey Girls Do Not Pump Gas.
No, they don't.
A podcast where we talk about all the incredibly important differences between Northeastern culture in the United States and Southeastern culture in the United States.
I like the emphasis on Eastern because I don't know anything about the West Coast.
Yeah, let's make that very clear. Very important disclaimer. We know nothing. About the West, the unknown.
The Wild West.
The Wild West. That's why they call it that. And maybe one day we'll have guests on to talk about the West, but we're sticking to what we know for right now. And we're your hosts. My name is Issa Pleasance, and this is...
Thank you. I'm Mary Hull, and maybe we should talk about what qualifies us to talk about these locales in the United States.
Absolutely. My qualifications are, I am born and raised in Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmywood, they call it the Hollywood of the East.
They do.
Yeah, born and raised in the South. Very Southern parents, very white trash family, mayonnaise sandwiches, cucumber sandwiches, tomato sandwiches, salt sandwiches, what have you.
I'm learning about so many things already. Salt sandwiches, yeah.
Yeah, so salt cucumber, salt in the apples, all that good home-style Southern cooking. Basically everything you could ever need to know about the South. And Mary?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in northern New Jersey. I lived there for the first 15 years of my life and then moved to Wilmington in my junior year of high school. So I know a thing or two about Wilmywood. Yeah, and, Vike Nation, Vike Town, Hoggard graduates, rise up.
That's a very specific pull. I feel like we're really tapping into a very specific audience there when we bring up Vike Town.
Well, I was really popular there, so this is gonna really boom with the Vike crowd. They're gonna definitely watch this, listen to this, do all the things with it, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're both incredibly qualified to talk about these topics because this is all we talk about.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I mean, it's literally the cornerstone of our friendship, I think, is all of these differences.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Disney Channel original movie, like...
The Color of Friendship!
The Color of Friendship, except for instead of, you being racist from South Africa or whatever the plot of that movie was, instead, you just happen to have a lot of knowledge about Wilmington and Southern culture, and I take that off of you, and you take New Jersey culture off of me.
I do, and there's so much about it that I still don't understand, and probably you as the viewer, there's so much that you don't understand either, because it's scary. It really is. For most of my life, there was nothing scarier to me than the idea of Yankees and Northern people. I moved to Lima, Peru when I was 18, and I was far more scared to even go through the JFK airport than I was to move to a foreign country.
I mean, possibly as you should.
And when I was there, the fear was warranted. When I was there, there must have been a hurricane or something prior to that because there were entire sections closed off from flooding. And so you would just come around the corner, and there was crime caution tape, and entire hallways would just be pitch black dark and dripping from the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
It's optimistic to think that it was a hurricane and not some sort of sewage leak that they just left unaddressed or something.
And then I was paying for something in line, and this elderly man in front of me was trying to pay in all pennies, and the woman literally told him no, and just shoved the pennies in his face. And she's like, no, you're not doing that, and just pushed the change back in his face.
Does that shock you that she didn't accept the pennies?
It was horrifying to watch. It brought me to tears. I'm not used to that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I definitely know that one of the big differences when I moved to these here parts was the difference between like how people treat like service workers, or like, and that could be a generational thing too, where like boomers really like spit on a fast food worker before they said thank you or something. But like, I definitely see like that type of situation, like that to me is like very normal. It's not like a, hey, how you doing? Like, how was your day type thing. Like when you go to Dunkin', it's like, what do you want? And it's like, yeah, I want a coffee. And then you leave.
I don't believe that, and I know people out there will agree with me, I don't believe that rudeness should be like a cultural trait or a personality trait. Like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm from the North, so I just get a free pass to be rude.
Yeah, but like the idea of Southern hospitality is mainly a falsehood.
Yeah, it's a sham.
Yeah, like it's definitely an idea that people have that just because they say something absolutely wildly offensive or rude with a smile on their face and a Southern drawl, that it's okay. So you're saying the same thing just with like a euphemism, or like something where it's like, I went to Walmart in New Jersey over the summer, and I asked the lady, I was asking for a keychain for you. That's what I was doing. I was trying to
my New Jersey keychain.
Yes, I was trying to get you a piece of the culture. But no one would ever buy that from like my local Walmart because it's not a tourist attraction. So there were no keychains. And the woman working there, I was like, hey, do you have any like New Jersey apparel or keychains? And before I could even finish my sentence, she's like, no, baby. Like, no.
Well, I'll stop you there because I think that Walmart exists in a liminal space that's outside of all other culture and place and time.
That's true.
So I wouldn't ask a Walmart employee around these parts for help in any sense.
Well, I mean, I feel like the coronavirus has changed things, but the environment in the Walmart is really negative. Like, I want to just kind of go in there and like give all the like people that work there a hug. Like they've had a rough day, because like there's someone in there who's not wearing a mask, who pulls down the mask to talk to them, who is definitely like cursing them out or something in that day. So Walmart has a lot of negative vibes, but there are Walmarts everywhere in the South. They're now just getting like big Walmarts.
Really?
In the North. Like the Walmart that I went to growing up didn't have a grocery store in it.
Whoa.
Yeah, it had a Subway, and it had...
Well, that's all you need. Why would you need to go grocery shopping? You have a Subway.
Yeah, just pick up the lettuce. Like, just go down the line and just get like all your needs. No, like it had clothes and toys and a lawn section, but no produce by any means. Yeah, so now they're all decked out though. They got ChickfilA up in the North now.
What, in the Walmart?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, finally. I mean, that was a long time coming.
Yeah, there's only one ChickfilA near where I grew up that was inside a mall, and that was the only one. There was no standalone ChickfilA. It's the first time I ever saw that was in Wilmington. That's
just unimaginable to me. When I say this fast food establishment, this eatery is so important to me. I truly could not imagine life without it. And that's probably more of like a personal thing, but it's like comfort food to me. Like it's what I don't like think of my mom's home cooked like spaghetti
salt
or something.
Sandwich.
Salt sandwiches.
Right.
I'm thinking of ChickfilA like when I need to comfort myself. I'll probably now I kind of want ChickfilA, honestly. I need to comfort myself after breaking my arm.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to discuss your broken arm?
Yes. It doesn't have anything to do with the topic of discussion, but I did break my arm skateboarding down a big scary hill.
R.I.P.
Don't skateboard. That's my new piece of advice to everyone. I saw some kids skateboarding out on Chancellor's Walk, which is like our main walkway of campus, and it was very difficult to like bite back the urge to yell at them, guys, don't. This is what's gonna happen to you.
Just point to your arm.
Yes. That's my advice. And if you fall off a skateboard, this is very important. If you fall off a skateboard, don't catch yourself. That's what the doctor told me. He said, just let yourself fall. Like don't try to stop yourself with your hands.
So you stop yourself with your face instead?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I don't personally skateboard, so I don't get, I don't take part in those type of activities, but I support you in your recovery. We're all wishing you a speedy recovery.
Everybody out there, I'm about to get flooded with fan mail from, everyone.
Everyone's gonna be sending you flowers, all the goods.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we decided we're gonna talk about fashion today. That was going to be the pinnacle of our discussion.
So everything we've talked about so far, that's just a taste. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of all of that later.
Indeed.
But for now, fashion.
How about you start?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I've been dying to talk about it.
I've been dying to talk about it.
So, fashion in the South, and don't try to disagree with me, because I'm right. And anyone who's had a differing experience in their life is wrong. And if you search your memory, you'll actually find that everything that I'm saying was correct. And everything you remembered, you were just misremembering it. But from what I recall growing up in the South, the pinnacle of fashion, the girl I'm about to describe is the most fashionable girl you could ever possibly imagine, okay? Stick straight, platinum blonde hair.
Okay.
On the feet, she's got on the Jack Rogers. Gold, silver, or the halfway between gold or silver. No other colors, okay? They're dirty, they're old, they are literally falling apart. These are wooden sandals I'm talking about too. If you're from the South, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But these are wooden shoes.
Yeah, for my northern girlies, we're trying to just conjure an image. But
I want you to look at these shoes because they're beautiful shoes. I would still wear them today if they were still popular because it was so easy. But that's just me. I hate shoes. I would go barefoot if I could. So another Southern.
You drive with no shoes.
I do.
Insane to me. I've never in my life driven without shoes on.
But yeah, so the girl, she's got the Jack Rogers on. Above that, just a pair of Nike shorts. But you can't see those, obviously, because the T-shirt, it's a T-shirt from a fishing company, probably either Vineyard Vines, Simply Southern.
Is this not Wilmington specific? Do you think that, girlies up in Raleigh and,
I mean, I think this is what they're wearing, but it's different. So maybe in, Alabama, it's, a hunting gear brand T-shirt, whereas out here, it's, a fishing brand.
Okay.
But I think it's uniform across most of the region.
Okay.
Is that fit? Okay, then she's got on a necklace that is, it's a black string with a single pearl right there in the middle. And then, or if it's a fancy day, she may be wearing a chevron dress with a real chunky statement necklace.
Wow.
Or a Lily Pulitzer dress. And then accessories, she's got the North Face plush pullover. And one of those lunch boxes that's squishy, it's not solid.
I had one of those, a Vera Bradley bag is what I used to have.
Yes, Vera Bradley, or a Vera Bradley book bag. Those were also really popular.
Yeah.
And then her phone case and her planner are matching Lily Pulitzer print.
Okay. Yeah, I really got the image there.
Can you see her?
I can see her.
Yeah.
And
she's bullying me.
Yeah, and she's literally pushing you into a locker.
Yeah. And you know what? I kind of liked it.
Stop. No. That's really insane to me, quite honestly. It's very different for me what people were wearing in middle school versus high school fashion. Because, my hometown, if anyone's watching this and happens to be from Maywood, New Jersey, you know what I'm talking about. But it is, at least 75% Italian. I can comfortably say that. Don't look it up. I don't want to be wrong. But at my high school, it was very much so not majority Italian. So maybe my fashion sense in middle school was shaped purely on Italian American fashion sense. So that's what I will describe here for you all now. So definitely the girliest brunette.
Which is wild.
Which is there's brunette and then there's the natural hair color that is just like kind of dirty blonde, like not actually blonde, but not all the way dark brown.
Yeah, like a mousy color.
Right, like that's kind of like the standard. It's like that's the lightest, and then it goes down to like as dark as your hair can go. So like, I don't know. Brunettes mainly. Straight hair, sure, yeah. You know, just whatever. And then the fit is going to have some sort of sneaker, so it's going to be like Nike or Converse or Vans or some sort of like shoe like that, because you're not allowed to wear flip-flops in school or you can wear sandals, but it has to have a back to it.
Isn't that so insane?
I like, is that just not a normal like rule for your dress code? It's like your shoes have to be closed toe, like, yeah.
I could not imagine. You're literally living in like a fascist regime. Like, what's next? Like, what else can they take from you once they've taken your flip-flops?
My high school had an insane like strict dress code. It was like no spaghetti straps, no open-toed shoes, no
here or in New Jersey?
In New Jersey.
Oh.
Yeah. And then you could not wear your headphones in the school. Like, if they saw you walking in the hallway with the headphones, they'd yank them out of your ears and, like, take them from you.
Oh, my God.
And then, like, hats were not allowed. They would take the hats, like, right off the guys' heads and stuff.
Yeah, hats are definitely not allowed here either.
Yeah.
But all of those other rules, no, absolutely not. The idea that someone would prevent me from chewing a piece of gum in class, I would revolt. That would just simply not happen.
Yeah. But the fashion sense is, like, I mean, yoga pants or leggings, a sneaker, and like a pink hoodie or something. Like, I guess maybe I didn't pay attention that much to fashion, because like, I don't know if you got this far in the episode and you haven't figured out that I'm kind of like I wasn't popular, you know. I wasn't the girl that Issa was describing.
Yeah, well, there's that fit that you were just describing, you know, the pink sweatshirt with the yoga pants, and then there was your fit, which was the Shane Dawson t-shirt.
All right, so you're exposed to me like this.
Knee-length jean shorts.
I'm gonna get canceled, but I would just like to present the evidence that I was 14 years old and closeted gay, so I think that that's enough of an excuse for why I was wearing jorts to school. Quite literally jean shorts to my knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. My fashion sense was children's place clothing until I physically could not fit into them anymore. So well into middle school, I was wearing clothes from the Children's Place because my mom got insane coupons from there. It was all basically free. And graphic tees galore, like the shirts that used to have like little fun sayings on them, like I'm a dinosaur, like dinosaur hugs, roar, XD vibes, like.
Oh, I love that.
You know.
I always wanted to go full emo at some point in my life, but I never had the courage. Like, I was always just fading into the background, like dressing very like nondescript. Like I tried to be fashionable, but very like nondescript. But in my mind, like I was just like reaching out telepathically to like the emos and like the really hardcore scene kids and like begging them to notice me, like just trying to like make them feel like I was one of them.
Through like your brainwaves.
Yes,
at
like,
the
I would
same
never...
time that like you were not associating with them.
Not associated at all, but like yet in my mind, I tried so hard to get them to notice me.
There was a steady lack of emos in my middle school. Like, you were either popular and played a sport, or you watched anime. Like, there was no in between.
I think that's another difference between the North and the South, because the South is notorious for having a very strong emo culture.
I mean, if you live in the South for long enough, you go towards the emo light, like it's calling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that you see all of the, what was it? What do you call them? The Jack Rogers stands of the world. And then you say,
you have to rebel.
I belong here.
Yeah.
That's not for me. I'm not that platinum blonde, cutesy girly with the matching phone case to my Vera Bradley. That's not me. So I'm going to become an emo. And I did the same thing, but not to the extent that I was, like, really emo. I was, like, emo adjacent. Like, dipped my feet into the emo pool type thing. You know?
Were there, but not the hair.
Oh.
That's what I would say, because...
That's cute,
because I could not commit to the hair. is my problem. I could not have, and I would have had to cut it myself, and I don't think I could have done a good job. So it's probably a good thing that I didn't even try.
I don't even know what that would look like. I guess I'd have to, like, fry my hair every day. Like, that's too much work already. I didn't comb my hair in middle school. That was a conscious choice to not comb my hair ever.
But we had a very strong, like, emo population all throughout, like, high school and middle school, all the way down to, like, elementary school. And in middle school, like, I feel like people were, like, so wild. Like, there was, like polyamory going on and like all sorts of stuff. Like,
it sounds so much more interesting.
In the emo crew, like they were really first of all, they were rolling with the LGBT long before anyone else, and they were just feeling themselves. Like I really think they were ahead of their time in many respects.
I mean, I think we should all just start being emo. I think we'd be a lot happier because we'd be living a more authentic version of our lives. Because, like, yeah, we're depressed. Like, that's cute. But, like, we don't even dress like it. Like, we're trying to, like, look happy or something. Like, wear bright colors to, like, mask that we really are just wearing raw XD dinosaur shirts on the inside, truthfully. But a typical fit that I would wear in, like, 8th grade or something, say it was, like, the winter time, it snowed 3 weeks ago, and it's still just, like, piled up on the ground and dirty and ugly, and the skies are gray, and that's what the winter looks like.
Oh, my God.
And by the time it gets to Christmas, there's no snow, so you don't even get the benefit of having a white Christmas. Like, it's just ugly. I've had maybe 1 or 2 white Christmases in my entire life. So you go, and you wear your Uggs to school. We did an entire breakdown of what each Ugg color means.
Yes, and how they're different. Because
which I had no idea. I didn't even pay attention that closely, quite honestly.
In my society, the light brown Ugg is the most neutral Ugg you can have. That's just
I agree.
I'm a normie. I'm a normal person. I have a light brown Ugg.
Mm-hmm.
Dark brown Ugg. Are we allowed to curse?
Let's try to keep it. Do a little PG-13 version of what you're gonna say right now.
Okay. Woman of the night. You are a person of a certain reputation, ill reputation. And I don't believe this. Let me be very clear. This is society. I'm very sex positive. Society would say that if you have a dark brown Ugg, you are a quite the minx. And okay, if you had the kind that had the bow in the back, you were a cheerleader. That was just like
makes sense.
Yeah. If you had the ones that came up like to the knee, you were weird. You were a horse girl, and especially if you had the ones that were like a knit.
Well, we're also horse girl positive here, so like.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, we don't want to malign them.
Yes, no. I'm not saying these things. Society is saying these things.
Right, yeah.
And if you had the knit, you were just like reading Warrior Cats. Like you were just really far outside the box.
This is actually adding up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, now that I think I didn't put the pieces together, but you failed to mention my first pair of Uggs, my first color of Uggs.
Which were gray, I remember.
No, the black Uggs were my first Uggs.
Okay, so what those meant was that you could fight. Like, you would fight in a school setting and you would win.
I like to think that that's true. I've never had the chance to put my fighting skills to the test. I always wanted to get into a physical altercation. My mom used to tell me that if I ever had to deal with somebody, take them to the back of the recess field and I support you.
Yeah.
So I always had the freedom to do it, just never the time, never was in the right place.
Never the time.
Yeah, like
they tried to test me, but I was late, so I had to.
My personality in like 5th grade consisted of the fact that like I would just curse in every sentence that I ever spoke. Like it was just my thing to curse. So I at one point I guess got into an argument with one of my friends, and we were in the recess field, and I had my Vera Bradley lunchbox, a squishy lunchbox, and she started testing me, so I just started smacking her off with the lunchbox. God. And that's the closest I ever got into a fist fight, so maybe that is why the black Uggs called to me.
I'm just imagining this now, and it's with your black Uggs on, and the swinging the Vera Bradley.
Yeah.
But
I did have the gray Uggs also.
The gray, I feel like those signify that you were just kind of irrelevant or like a background character.
Call me out, because like that describes middle school for sure. I had the ones with the fur. You fold them down if you want. You can fold them you can wear them up with the button. Fold them down to get like a small shoe. They were my faves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're probably thinking this makes me sound really judgmental, but I had bear paws, so those in glass houses should not throw stones. Let me just say that. But yeah, anyway, so that's basically the UGG hierarchy.
Yeah.
But you guys also had Toms. I mean, no, what are they called?
Tims?
Tims.
Okay, no one... I'm telling you, it's the New Yorkers who are wearing Tims. No, I mean, I guess I'm supposed to be the voice of all of the North, so I will speak for New Yorkers. They're in the kingdom with the Tims on, you know? Like, that's what they're doing up there. But, I guess people were maybe wearing Tims in high school, but Tims, like, my dad owned a pair of Tims, and, like, for context, for all of you guys who don't know who my father is, he's just this, like, you know, sweet, you know, white man who's not, like, these New York youngins with the Tims on who are cool and such. I think my dad's cool, but he's not, you know, rocking the Tims for any other reason besides shoveling snow. So... I mean, they exist, but who's wearing the Tims? They're chunky.
Yeah, I just remember a girl moving here from, in high school, I think she was from like Long Island or something, and she brought a pair of Tims down, and she was strutting the streets in those, and the reaction was... really intense. Like, people were like, like, she would be walking down the hall and people would literally whip their heads around.
This
like,
is her villain origin story. She's like, I moved to the South and they victimized me for my Tims. and then she buys a pair of the multitude of Jesus sandals that Southerners alternate between.
Okay.
I thought
they're called Birkenstocks.
Okay, there's multiple. There's the sporty ones and the Jesus
Those are Chacos.
Uh-huh. And
don't pretend you don't know the difference between Chacos. I learned about your culture, but you don't respect mine.
The Chacos. The Chacos.
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 Oh my God, you're doing that on purpose.
I'm literally not. Why would I know?
Chacos.
Why would I know what these sandals are called? Okay, so this is my Southern sandal hierarchy that I witnessed. All right, so I walk into my first day of school in Wilmington. I'm walking in there. I was wearing my Converse, and I walk up in the spot, and I'm like, okay, guys, like, I'm so excited to be in a new school, like, what's going on, everybody? And I realized that all the girls are wearing Jesus sandals, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is cute, like, everyone here is, like, really religious, like, I really respect you guys, like, you guys are so dedicated to the faith, like, they're literally wearing, like, sandals that Jesus Christ himself would wear. Like, I was like, wow, that's really great, guys. But I didn't think that the popular people would be also wearing these shoes. I thought it was just like, oh, like, there's some fundamental Christian girls here, but it was everybody. So then I realized it was not a Christian thing, but a Southern thing, and they are Birkenstocks, which is apparently a gay thing. So, you know.
Well, originally gay, but as you know, straight people just
appropriate the culture.
Everything.
Stolen. Yeah. We're going to have to start like an internet campaign to get Birkenstocks back to lesbians. Like.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things I want to put on that list. I can't even cuff my freaking jeans anymore.
Yeah. We got to get it back. Get the culture back.
Yeah.
Hashtag get the culture back.
They took the earrings. They took everything fun.
The earrings.
Like the
dangly, like...
The ones you see on TikTok.
Like making the earrings out of, like, rubber ducks and, like, anything. I didn't realize that had even been stolen yet. I make a conscious effort.
I know they have their greasy, grubby little hands rubbing all over those rubber ducks.
This is also a straight friendly podcast.
We haven't agreed on that.
Yeah,
I don't remember agreeing to that. I didn't sign a contract to that.
For the purposes of us not getting canceled off the show and our show deleted, this is definitely a straight friendly podcast. We're not bigoted at all. But we just want our culture back. Is that too much to ask? Much to ask? So the Birkenstocks, they definitely have been long appropriated because everyone's wearing them.
So returning to the hierarchy, so what did the Birkenstock? Where did they fall in the hierarchy? Like, what did they say about a person? They're literally like
the standard. Like they're the
that's valid. That's
UGG,
valid.
The UGG. And then if you go to App State and you like going on hikes, then you wear the Chacos. Like you like being outside. You like doing outdoorsy things. Mm-hmm. You probably like go to boat or something. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, people will like wear them to go on a hike, which is probably crazy to you because I doubt you would hike with your toes out.
You should have ended the sentence right at, I can't imagine you would hike, period. End of sentence. No. I've been begged to go on hikes before, and I refuse. Absolutely not.
I'm so glad you were not with us when me and Abril, we have a friend called Abril.
Abril, if you're listening, hey girl.
Hey girl. And we went on a hike, and Abril threw up in the woods because it was a 10-mile hike.
What? Yeah, she was telling me about this. And did she get injured at some point?
Yes, like her leg was hurting. It was bad.
No, I can't handle stuff like that. Wildlife.
We saw a snake. I almost stepped on a snake. That was crazy.
This is what I'm saying. That's like, there's nothing that really compels me to go in nature besides like maybe seeing like something that's photogenic, but then I could just see the photo of it, you know? Like, I don't want to be outside ever.
I get that.
In the wilderness, no.
What
if I saw a frog? Like, I'd actually have to jump off a cliff. Like, I would just die.
I do appreciate a good nature every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not huge into it, but I appreciate a good nature.
That's why, like, if I tried to act like I was, like, cottagecore, I'd be such a poser. Like, I literally would be, like, the only thing I would like from it would be the charcuterie board. Like, that would literally be it. Like, there's no other thing that would compel me to live off in a cottage in the wilderness with no air conditioning and eat just wild mushrooms or something. Like, you know, that's cute. I appreciate the aesthetic, but it's just, it could not be me. Mm-mm. Yeah. I support that for you, though. You definitely fit into it.
Really? Do you think so? Do you think I could pull it off?
Yes.
I feel like I could eat a wild mushroom or milk a cow.
Yeah. Sure. Where does the lie between like Future Farmers of America and cottagecore, like where's the boundary?
It's very thin.
Yeah.
I think Future Farmers of America is more like they're agricultural, like they're about the coin. Like I feel like they're doing corn.
Oh, it's like business major teas. It's like if you have the business major, but you're also into cottagecore, Future Farmers of America.
Yeah.
But if you were like an arts major, art history or something, or like philosophy, you go to just not being a Future Farmers of America. You're just cottagecore.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I feel like farming is like out on a field, whereas like cottagecore is in the woods, in my mind.
Okay. I love that we're like setting up these rules for like what defines being a farmer versus a dainty lesbian in the woods. Yeah.
Okay, so Jesus Sandals, Chacos.
Yeah.
What else is on the list?
The ones you were talking about, the Jack Rogers. I assume that you come from wealth.
Yes, they're incredibly expensive.
Right. Like because I've had multiple girlies in Wilmington. Like you can tell who's kind of like rolling with the dough in town.
Yeah.
Like live in a certain area. Got their house on Wrightsville Beach. Got a boat in the waterway.
Yeah.
You know, that girly, she's wearing those.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's the three main ones. You know, you either are outdoorsy, basic, or rich.
This is interesting. They're actually all about the same price. I think Birkenstocks are about $100 a real pair.
Really?
Chacos are about. Are they about $100? I think they're from like $100 to like $125. Jesus. And Jack Rogers are actually Jack Rogers may be the cheapest because I think they're $115. At the time, that was by far the most expensive object really I had ever owned, and I love those things. My Jack Rogers, I wore them until those suckers fell apart.
The Uggs are the most expensive shoe that I probably owned.
Because those were like what, $150?
Yeah, like those were like you're spending the big bucks on those.
Yeah, I was given the choice. What do you want more, Uggs or the Jack Rogers? And that really goes to show that it was more important in like, Southern culture to have the Jack Rogers.
When is it cold enough to even wear Uggs in Wilmington besides like the month of January?
Well, we certainly weren't wearing like Vans in 40-degree weather.
I was. That was a conscious choice.
Well, you were wearing them in the snow. Yeah,
which is like idiot pants decisions. Like I literally got like frostbite on my toes. It felt like I literally had to like sit in like first period and just like take off my shoe and just hold my toes and hope that I get feeling back in them.
think about that story sometimes to make myself feel better if I'm ever feeling like in pain or like I'm miserable or whatever, like, you know, with my broken arm. And then I just think about the idea of you or somebody else just like with wet ankles and like sopping wet shoes, like standing out in the freezing cold. Your socks
just never completely like dry all the way.
In like the sloshy snow and like a cold like school building.
Yeah.
And then I feel better.
Well, yeah, like my school, like my middle school and high school did not have air conditioning in them.
That's really
so, like,
next level.
September when school started and June when school ended, you were like experiencing the hottest weather of your life, and you're just sweating it out. You're not getting any air at all. When you come to Wilmington, I was in my high school, it'd be hot, so hot, and I'd be sitting there with like the fan blowing on me. I'm like, this is the lap of luxury. Because like it would snow. Well, it would snow in my like hometown, and then when I got to high school, I'd have to go to like the 4th floor of my like building to chemistry, and we'd literally open up Bunsen burners just to keep warm enough to get through class, and we're all wearing our winter coats and just sitting like warming our hands by the fire. And like that's probably because our school was vastly underfunded. But I
would
mean,
not
like,
have survived. Like I wouldn't be alive.
Yeah. You would have fallen to just a statistic, but it's chopped out. You'd be like, can't do this anymore.
Yeah, like I think about that because North Carolina to me is very, very cold. Like I'm extremely like I guess would be cold-blooded.
Bibs, that's the anemia talking.
Yeah, I'm severely anemic. So like winter's here, and it only gets to be really like upper 30s, like mid to low 40s. Yeah. Would you say? Yeah.
40s is like pretty low. Like that's a cold day. Is 40s probably.
Yeah, and that to me is almost completely unbearable. Like it's painful. Wow. Like being warm, being hot, it may be uncomfortable, but it's not painful. Being cold is painful.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I would have done if I was born up there.
So like, I simply wouldn't have been born. I simply would have just
I would not have climbed out of the womb.
Simply just would have been Southern. You were meant to be Southern. Do you feel that? Do you feel like you were meant to be Southern?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
That's good.
Do you feel like you were meant to be Northern?
Well, I sure as hell was not meant to be Southern. It's a struggle. I feel like an outcast. Like, I feel like this is like not my place. No, I mean I'm fine. I like the beach.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. I like the beach, but yeah, it's a definite culture shock that we will definitely get into more episodes and such.
And that's why we have this podcast, so that outcasts like you,
like me,
feel a little bit less alone.
Yeah. If you're from the north and you're listening to this and you're sitting inside of your UNCW dorm room and you just want nothing else in this world but a good bagel or a good slice, and you're sitting in here and your only option is Einstein's and you're locked in your dorm because of COVID, listen to this. You're not alone. We're here for you.
Yeah.
And if you are Southern and any of my views offend you, you've got Issa. You've got
to be the
someone,
voice of reason.
Yeah. When I say something radical or off color, you'll have to reel me in.
Radical or off color?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's
okay.
almost guaranteed to happen at some point. You literally just like, during some point in this episode, like, maligned horse girls and straight people, like the entirety of the heterosexual group. So I'll have to reel you in.
You have to reel me in sometimes too.
Yeah. So we'll just have to keep each other accountable.
As much as this podcast is for the Northerners, it's also for the Southerners.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I want to see goth people who drink Mountain Dew.
Mm.
I'm talking to the people who would spend every Saturday night hanging out in the Walmart parking lot with their friends. I'm talking to, I don't know, who else am I talking to?
Oh my god.
The girls and the gays?
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty standard. I mean, like, I can't tell you who you're talking to. Because I can't speak on your experience. I can only appropriate it for my needs. But I sit here and I speak for the Northerner who decided their heart was calling them to Wilmington to go to college. I don't understand you, but I support you. And
yeah,
I'm
you
here
were
for
dragged here against your will.
Yeah,
so.
I was dragged here literally in chains. This is me trying to get my come-ups to get out of here. It's fine. I like it. UNCW is cool, you know? I'm vibing here. But this is for the people. This is for the people who are trying to navigate the South and are a little bit lost. Because I have some tales and some advice, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe you guys can give me advice.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how you can
need
reach
advice.
us. It's like
Write in. Our address is.
It's like, yeah, drop a letter to like the Student Media Center and we'll find it. Yeah.
Well, alrighty. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned because we have so many other amazing discussions to have. We're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about Catholicism, the sexiest religion.
We're going to get progressively more and more, like, just push the bar of what we're allowed to talk about. Because I'm like, he's like, let's see what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about religion, politics, race. Let's throw it all
Race.
in.
We're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about everything under the sun.
Yeah, so let's get us canceled. That's the goal, is to get our show shut down. So like, let's push
as
the
soon
boundary.
as possible.
Yeah.
You know, we've only got a few weeks left on campus before COVID takes us down, so we might as well just push the envelope to the absolute max before that happens.
That's about it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Please stay tuned. Our podcast comes out every... What day of the week does it come out?
Hell if I know.
Well, you'll know because it'll say on there what day of the week it came out.
Or you'll be watching it. It's already out. Just check the day that it came out while you're watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't have to do everything for you. Jesus Christ. We're already doing so much for you.
Yeah. We just sat here and created the most entertaining half hour of your life, and you have the nerve to complain that we can't even provide the place for your podcast. All right, whatever. It's fine.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.